Good afternoon. This is a special joint meeting of the Council and the LPUA. At times during this meeting, I will defer to the chair of the LPUA, Liz Hebert, to preside over LPUA matters. I, as chair, don't have any announcements to make. Anything from the council members? Nothing from the council members. We'll move on to introductory ordinance, and that's to be read by Jeremy.
Ordinance 155, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council and the Lafayette Public Utilities Authority authorizing the incurring of debt and issuance of a taxable second lien utilities revenue bond series 2018 in an amount not to exceed $250,000 of the City of Lafayette, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Need a motion from the council. Moved by Mr. Boudreau, seconded by Mr. Lewis. Ms. Hebert, I need a motion from the LPUA, please.
Motion by Cook.
And
Second by Boudreau.
thank you. Do we have any comments from the public concerning the above introductory ordinances? Okay. Mr. Boudreau.
Thank you. I know this is an introduction, but if you could ask Ms. Toops, I don't see an FA on this particular issuance. We have an FA of record now under contract here at LCG. I was under the impression that going forward we would have our advisor on board on all of these. The last couple that has come before us hasn't had it. This is introduction. I would like by final adoption to engage our financial advisor, get their participation on all of our issuance of any and all bonds. Okay? So I don't know why they're not, and if y'all want to speak to that now, we can. But if not, by final adoption, I would like to know why aren't we using our FA as designed by our contract?
We don't have bond counsel here tonight to speak on this, but maybe somebody from utilities can speak. It's a DEQ grant that's going to be forgiven. It's not actual bonds, even though the language reads that way, and it's only $250,000. That might be why it wasn't included, but I certainly can follow up and let you know.
Please do. Please do. And Mr. Robideau, I know we have spoken about this. I'm asking that on all our issuance, and as Ms. Tu said, I acknowledge the fact that if it's a grant, when you read it, it reads as a bond, it shows as a bond, it shows as an issuance. I would like us to be in compliance on everything, regardless of how minimal or how large. I want to take advantage of that service as of no cost to us, but possible savings. I want us to really clean these up, so I really appreciate that. That's all I have, sir.
Mr. Terrio.
Yes, real quick, if you can include Mr. Ascott.
He's on.
Mr. Ascott, just real quick, had a question that was posed to me, and I wanted your thoughts on it. Based that this is a special joint meeting between the Lafayette City Parish Council and the LPUA. Our current charter states that the governing authority of the Utilities Department shall be the Lafayette Public Utilities Authority. It also states the authority shall fix rates, incur indebtedness, and approve proposals for the improvement and extensions of utilities. So why is the whole council being required to vote on something that is an LPUA issue?
I can either borrow your charter or let me pull mine real quick. It might be under 2-11.
I have a post in there for what the utilities is.
Under the charter, there was, and my understanding, this goes years back, at least from the very inception of this particular charter, that there is arguably some gray area that is an overlap of the authority of LPUA as well as the authority of the council. And under 2-11, which is under the council's section of the charter, particularly regarding action requiring an ordinance, there are items listed that engage the council as an act of the council necessary, and one of which is incur debt in any manner authorize the borrowing of money is another item. And so there is arguably some gray area of overlap, such that in order to ensure that everything is done appropriately and proper, the safe legal way to do it would be a joint meeting, such that if anybody argued both were required, then both have done it. That's my understanding.
And do you know if we have any, I'm not talking about a legal opinion, do we have any documentation that actually points that this council is able to do it this way, other than what you've read in the charter here?
Well, the charter, I guess, would be the primary document the source document that you would refer to, because this basically, if you think about it in terms of the state has the Constitution, LCG has this, which is their Constitution, which is the charter. So this is the primary source of authority that you would look to, and in reading those two overlaps, I think it's fair to say that that ambiguity is disposed of by joint action.
Would it be fair to say that 99.9% of all the business with the LPUA or LUS is voted on by the LPUA only? And only when times of dealing with rate changes or incurring indebtedness will the whole council be involved?
Quite honestly, I mean, I don't know that information. I can't tell you percentages. I mean, I know that there are other items in 211 that may overlap with LPUA's authority as well, that, you know, I haven't listed here, but including lease, amending administrative codes, levying taxes, adopting budgets.
Since I've been on the council now for quite a long time, like many others, is that usually when the whole council is involved is when you're dealing with bonds,
Right.
when you're dealing with rates increases or any issues like that, but that's usually the only times
Okay.
that are involved where the entire council votes on it. So in your opinion, there are no issues with what this council is doing at this time?
No, sir. I believe that is the safe and appropriate way to handle the potential ambiguity in the charter.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Boudreaux.
Yeah, I'd just like the record to reflect and add that the reason I think, Mr. Terrio, that the entire council are involved on these, as bond counsel has previously stated, who is not here today, is that because how the original sale of bonds took place, that there have been other actions that have since then happened that on the regular functions and operations of utilities, that the LPUA as the governing authority has been deemed appropriate. But as it relates to bond issues, and because of the origin of these bonds, that it has been advised that until such time that changes by way of charter change, that the entire council address these. So I just wanted to remind you of that previously I recall, since we've been here the same time, bond council has indicated this is how it started, and they suggest that we continue this way until we could get clear definition for the abundance of caution. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Not seeing any at this time. We'll now move to call for public comment.
There are none.
There are none? Okay. Call for the vote to introduce, from the council to introduce the ordinance.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? District 9? Motion to introduce by council is approved.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to the LPUA chair, and we'll get a vote from the LPUA. Councilwoman Liz, your mic is hot.
Thank you. I'd like to call for a vote from LPUA to introduce the ordinance.
And this will be a voice vote because we can't put two votes up there at the same time, so.
District 3? District 4? Yes. District 6? Yes. District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
Motion to introduce by LPUA is approved.
Okay. All right. Meeting adjourned. 5 minutes. We'll start the regular scheduled 5:30.